I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 471 of the Hoots Podcast here on Friday, June 27th, 2025. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez, ready to rock and roll and give you guys another fantastic podcast as we're on the road to 500 episodes of Hoots Podcast. That's right. After this week's episode, the countdown goes from 29 to 28. So we're getting there, folks. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. So thinking about it today, we are officially 7 months away from the final edition of the Hoots Podcast. And I just want to say thank you all for taking this ride with me as we get closer and closer to that final episode. And I love each and every single one of you. It's usually nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you like, at the Hoots Podcast. Instagram, Josh Lopez Music. Make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button right now for those who are watching / listening to us on YouTube at the Hoots Podcast. That'll help expand the reach of the show, especially on YouTube. We want to become partners on YouTube. And the only way to get there is to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're halfway there, but any subscription would be helpful for the podcast, and I appreciate the support for that as well. If you'd like to check out my play-by-play articles, my job away from this particular podcast, make sure to check out the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com, and I appreciate the support on that end as well. I know this week will be our Night of Champions preview show. We'll get into that. We'll also get into your questions for the Back Porch Q&A session. I want to thank Mike and Chris for their continued contributions for the segment and keeping it going. The fact that I get any questions from anybody still means a lot to me, and the fact that I still see the numbers that we're getting right now is still very humbling. So I thank each and every single one of you who are still rocking with us despite our transition from Spotify to Odyssey Creator Lab. I want to thank, by the way, our new home distributing partner, Odyssey, for having us, and things are going very well on that end as far as the ROI topic is concerned, and that's been very cool. So that's pretty much it for plugs. I'll tell you what, last week I put the title of last week's episode, right? Like, put some respect on my name. And not knowing the original intention for that, I put that initial title for last week's episode because I wanted to remind people that legends, regardless if they're favored or not amongst the wrestling Twitter bubble or not, deserve to go out how they want to go out, right? Like, it's okay for Sting to have a title match in his final match at Revolution, but it's not okay for Goldberg to have a championship match on his final opportunity. I just find that a weird double standard, and I find that very hypocritical. I'm not coming here to tell anybody that they have to be fans of Bill Goldberg, but at the same time, I don't believe in double standards, and this is not elementary or high school where somebody comes up with a narrative and then we need to act like hyenas and jump and latch onto that narrative and make it something that it's not. And that happens way too much amongst the IWC, where it's just a cesspool of people and a circle jerk of people who don't know how to think for themselves, and they toss out bullshit up in the air, and people cling onto it because that fits the narrative that they're feeling at that time. And I just think we're getting way too many disingenuous conversations amongst the community and too many disingenuous conversations amongst people who do podcasts like this and video shows. And I put that title, like, put some respect on my name, in direct to Goldberg. But as I looked back on last week's episode, I feel like a lot of that has to start directing back towards myself. And I tell you, as somebody who struggles with self-doubt, sometimes these moments come to you in a rare, sporadic occasion where you just start waking up the next day and you're like doubting your place in your field, you're doubting your worth, you're doubting your position amongst your colleagues in the space. And it's not anything recently, but I think this year has been kind of a challenge that I haven't really talked about a lot yet on the show, where I've expressed my frustration from what the space is doing right now, and it's kind of taking away the enjoyment of professional wrestling, not only for the fans, but for the people who do content creation. But I think for me personally, I never wanted to be a person that, like, reached out for clout or anything like that. That's not who I am. It's not how I was raised. I do feel, at a certain extent, in a way, I wish I received my flowers as much as other people do in this field. And sometimes I don't know if my voice means anything in this space anymore. I don't know if, like, this show in particular means anything. Like, I know that we're getting closer to episode 500, but I think that closure and that sense of, like, it's time to say goodbye when it comes to this project itself, like, it's becoming more and more reality, and I'm realizing that. It's like, the sport's still there, the numbers are still there, the fact that we're getting money again for the podcast is awesome. I'm grateful for that, and I feel like the content amongst the podcast itself has been very good. Like, I've been able to have some nice nuanced conversations. I can bring a perspective on here from my work from doing the transcripts and stuff like that. I'm happy with that, and I feel like we are having good conversations, and we're getting good questions for the Q&A session each week. But at the same time, like, amongst myself, I feel like something's missing professionally, and I can't pinpoint what it is. I don't know if it's just there's days where I feel like I'm not getting my flowers enough amongst this field, or it's just like a self-doubt thing where, like, I wake up and I'm like, man, Josh, you keep doing this podcast for almost a decade, and where are you now? Where is this podcast taking you in your career, you know? And it's a shitty feeling to have, because, like, there's times, and this week is an example where I've been struggling to figure out when to press the record button, you know? But I'm here, and we're pushing through this, and, you know, I said back in episode 300 that I make the promise that we would make it to 500, and I'm keeping that promise. But I don't know. For those who do listen to the show each week, do you feel like maybe the show's overstayed its welcome? Maybe I should stop wasting my time with it. I don't know. I'm juggling so many things now in my head where it's like, we are getting money now for the podcast again, which is awesome, and I'm so grateful for that. And I've been really busy with the transcripts and stuff like that, so I don't want to get anybody concerned where, like, oh, my mental health's not in a good place, or, like, I'm overly depressed or anything like that. That's not the case. I'm in a good space with a lot of things in my life right now, and I've been very focused and disciplined in everything I'm doing with the walks and all this extra shit to get me closer to my goal of moving out of the city. But even for myself, I know there's good days and bad days, and I think the bigger issue that I'm dealing with right now is more of, like, me asking myself, why am I not further along? Why am I not receiving my flowers amongst this space? Why is this not happening to me? Like, did I make a mistake getting into this field? Stuff like that, questions like that. And I think in a lot of ways I can look at that question and be like, no, you did not make a mistake. You took on a project, you took a risk to come on a platform like this and expose yourself to the public and speak from the heart and try to bring something different to the table when it came to wrestling talk. But at the same time, it's just like, as someone who is goal-oriented and deals with self-doubt, that's always a battle that I'm always going to have to deal with internally. It's like a clash that just won't go away. And like, I will never come on here and be like, oh, we failed, or I failed. And that's the thing, like, I say we a lot because the Hoots Podcast is not just about Joshie Lopez. It's never been just about me. I feel like I have a sense of, I feel like it's my responsibility to do right by you guys and be genuine and honest and transparent with you guys. And I feel like I have a duty to, I don't know, maybe in a way kind of give you guys an escape from the cesspool that is the IWC and kind of give you something different to the table. But it's like, what's that doing for me, you know, right? Like, all these shows that I talk about each and every single week here on the show that they just shit on WWE and, you know, glaze AEW. Guess what? Those are the people that are getting all the money and getting press credentials and getting this and that. And I'm like, do I change my morals and ethics and who I am as a human being just for the sake of money and recognition? Like, that, again, that's not how I was raised, and that's not the type of man that I am. And I think we all deal with this part of our life where you are kind of in a bind and trying to figure out, like, what's that missing piece that you need to finally get you headed towards the goal that you want to achieve in your life, right? We all are in this journey that God's taking us, but I've yet to see within both my eyes what I need to do in order to get myself to that position. And it sucks. It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I could come on here and brag about my analysis skills or say that nobody can touch me when it comes to doing a live transcript for wrestling shows. I do feel that way, but again, I'm not a cocky, braggadocious person. But you know, sometimes even for someone like myself that doesn't seek validation, it would be nice to receive my flowers here and there, you know. And I don't know if content creators will have the ability to be this vulnerable and honest with you, but like, you put all this time and thought into these shows and articles that you write and years and years that go into this project, and you feel in a lot of ways that, yeah, money's awesome and getting the listenership is cool and all, but the recognition is more times not more rewarding than what you get returned from impressions and downloads and clicks and money, especially for myself. Like, I want, when I started the show, I wanted the Hoots Podcast to make a difference. I wanted it to mean something. And I wanted to, you know, obviously, of course, I wanted this show to be something to springboard me onto the next stage of my career. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. You know, initially when we started the show with myself and Adam Daly, we just did it for shits and giggles, and I wanted to give it another shot after the PWE show ended back in 2016. But at the same time, I didn't know how long the show was going to last. I remember I chuckled with Adam, like, man, it would be interesting. If this show can make it past 10 or 20 episodes, we'll feel like on top of the world, right? And guess what? We hit it off very, very strong and really, really fast. I remember those first 3 or 4 years initially of the podcast, man. We were cooking on gas on YouTube, on Spotify with our numbers. Like, we were doing very, very good. But I'm not gonna lie, as the years gone by, and you know, obviously we've had changes with co-hosts and stuff like that. Like, I've understood in a lot of ways that I still wanted, in a way, that this podcast would be at least an opportunity for me to elevate my career to the next level. You know, like, I've had my steady job of doing my transcripts in my play-by-play articles, but at the same time, you know, every year when you get to taxes and then you see in your sheet you barely made $20,000 in a year, because, you know, wrestling play-by-play writers get paid like shit in this field, and they get treated like utility players. You know, that stuff bites at you. Like, objectively, for how long I've been doing this, for how long I've been in this field, I don't know what it is that I'm missing. You know, like, so I'm being honest with you guys. Like, I'm having these like self-doubt questions of like what's missing in a lot of ways, and I don't know yet. But at the same time, we got to push forward and continue on, because I make my promises and I'm a man of my word. And we'll get to episode 500, and we're still gonna have fun with this. I'm very grateful for this new home that we have on Odyssey, and we're doing some really good stuff on there as well. It's just, I think there's something bigger for me that I want for myself that's not just what I'm doing right now, and I think that's the biggest thing that's messing with my head right now. Is no anger or strife towards the show. It's no anger or strife towards my articles or anything like that. It's just like, here I am at 31, and I wish and I know in my heart that I should be in a bigger platform right now than I am, and it's like, where's my fucking flowers at? You know? But I gotta trust. I gotta trust myself. I gotta trust timing. I gotta trust my faith, and I gotta trust God, and have Him show me like where that time's gonna come for me, and it will. But yeah, we all deal with self-doubt. So I just wanted to spend this first part of the show kind of be honest with you, kind of response to last week's episode. You know, last week I was like, oh, put some respect on Goldberg's name. In a lot of ways, I need to be like, hey guys, you know, put some respect on my name too, you know. Anyways, we're gonna put a ribbon bow on this week's monologue. When we come back, we'll get into this week in WWE. Get into some preview predictions for Night of Champions, which is taking place this Saturday. I'll be covering the show live for WrestlingHeadlines.com during the day. I think it started at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll answer your questions for the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 471 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hoots Podcast, episode 471, and number one in your heart. We are 28 episodes after this week, away from episode 500 of the Hoots Podcast, so we're getting closer to hitting our goal, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much. Let's talk about what's going on with this week in WWE. We'll see how long this week's episode is going to be. Got some other stuff to do. But I did want to get a podcast out for you guys this week before Night of Champions, because I know they'll be taping SmackDown during the day tomorrow. By the way, I'm not really a big fan of the whole spoiler stuff. Just in general, just as like a fan of myself, I don't enjoy spoilers for whether it's like sports or movies or TV shows, let alone the thing I love the most, which is wrestling. I don't enjoy spoilers. I also don't like spoilers, especially for the site that I work for, dropping spoilers before me doing the live article for it, and then like the disingenuous sentences that they put on for the people on the staff that put the spoilers on the site that were for like so disingenuous. Like, okay, here's the spoilers for the show, but hey, make sure to check out our live result coverage of the said show that you just spoiled for everybody. That one always drives me up the wall, because it's like, we're in the field that I'm in, right? It's all about clicks, right? And it's about engagement. And you wonder why play-by-play result writers get paid like dog shit in this field. Is because spoilers are still a thing in 2025. So we got live spoilers for SmackDown because it's in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. But you still get to tell your readers to come check out a live transcript of the show that they already know the results to. Which kind of makes my job meaningless. You know, it's a slap in my face. I understand it. Spoilers engage clickbait. I get it. I understand how the fields works. I don't need anybody to tell me what it is. I understand how my field works. But it's still kind of frustrating in a way, because like the play-by-play articles that I do is probably the most rarest form of journalism that's practiced in this field. I'm not coming up with fake bullshit and rumor and innuendo. I'm not coming up with some soliloquy about my bookie takes or star ratings. I'm not like dishing out some hypothesis thing that came from a random ass source that came out of my ass. Sometimes you see this, you go, oh, my source is telling me this, my source is telling me that. Like, do you really have sources, or are you just blaring that up off your ass and then you're trying to make yourself look cool? Ooh, I got sources, pal. I always wondered that sometimes. Hey man, the third string writer assistant is my buddy in WWE, so that's my source. The guy that has absolutely no influence on the creative decisions, my source for all the backstage drama. Hey, what about some backstage sources for AEW? Oh, hey, Will Washington. Hi. Nice to see you, buddy. I don't know about you guys, but even for someone like myself who's a content creator, I despise and loathe spoilers. It's a slap in the face to people who actually cover the shows live, and it's still disingenuous to the fan base, because you're giving out spoilers, and then they're forming their opinion on a show that they haven't even seen yet, due to the lack of laziness that you're putting into these written spoiler reports. Like, I don't know, man. That was one of the reasons why I kind of enjoyed that little European tour that they had for Raw and SmackDown during the road to WrestleMania this year, because I was able to cover those shows live and not have to deal with the bullshit for the spoilers. Like, I'll get to do that again in August, because they got that tour going up after SummerSlam, heading into Clash in Paris. So, again, sorry for the rant, but I need to get that off my chest. We have Night of Champions coming up on Saturday for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We have 6 matches on the card. Really quick, I just want to go over really quick and give some shout-outs to some matches that I covered this week from all the shows. And we're going to talk a little bit about John Cena's Pipebomb on CM Punk for this past week's SmackDown. But really quick, some of the matches off the top of my head that really stood out this week from programming, from SmackDown, Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Really enjoyed that match. Segment-wise, I enjoyed the stuff with Jacob Fatu and Solo. I thought that was very good. Let me pull up my reference sheet here so I don't get anything wrong. The Randy Orton and Sami Zayn match was very good as well. So those are three that stood out for me from SmackDown. From Monday Night Raw, obviously Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, barn burner for the King of the Ring semifinals. Braun Breaker and Penta was fantastic. Penta trying to go for a springboard crossbody, and Breaker did his spear in midair. That was very good. Jade Cargill and Roxanne Perez, kind of slow at first, but I thought for the most part they did a good job with that match as well. What else from Raw really quick? I thought Raw was a really good episode this past Monday from, where were they at this past Monday? They weren't in Grand Rapids. Raw was in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, that's where it was. Both Goldberg and Gunther's promos were good. I'm going to play Goldberg's interview with Michael Cole in this segment as well. Becky Lynch and Bayley as an appetizer for their Women's Intercontinental Championship stuff. I thought that was very good as well. I just mentioned the Cody Rhodes Jey Uso match, semifinals. And then to NXT, Trick Williams against Josh Briggs for that NXT, no, not the NXT, the TNA World Championship. I thought it was very cool. The four-way elimination match with the four-way for the opportunity to fight JC Jane at Evolution, Jordan Grace against Izzy Dane, Lash Legend, and Jada Parker. It was a very good match. If you haven't seen that, go on your way to check it out. And those were really the ones that stood out to me. But before we get into John Cena's Pipebomb promo, I want to play Goldberg's interview that he had with Michael Cole this past Monday night on Raw.
Bill, you made it very clear that you would seek revenge against Gunther after what he said about you and your family at Bad Blood last year. It appears that revenge is going to come 2 weeks from Saturday in Atlanta on NBC as part of Saturday night's main event. Mm-hmm. What is it about Gunther that puts you in this type of mood?
First and foremost, did you expect anything less of me? Did you think there was any way I was going to let that slide?
Zero.
Exactly. I take my family to a WWE event as a bystander, as a fan, trying to relax, no stress, don't have to worry about who I'm wrestling that night, don't have to worry about anything. Just gotta go have fun. And I step into a verbal assault from Gunther. The lack of respect from him that I saw that night was pretty unbelievable. It was astonishing to me. Did he embarrass me in front of my wife? Absolutely. Did he embarrass me in front of my son? No question. Did he embarrass me in front of my fans and my adopted hometown of Atlanta? 100%. So there was absolutely no way I was going to let him get away with it. I didn't know when, I didn't know where I was going to seek my revenge and introduce him to who Goldberg really is, whether it's a 58-year-old man or a 28-year-old man. I don't care if I've got one foot in the grave. Nobody's ever going to talk to me like that and get away with it. So yeah, he embarrassed me in front of my family. And so, as I'm vying for my retirement match and wondering who my opponent's going to be, I thought it was quite serendipitous that he stepped up and pretty much put himself into that spot. I think it was a logical choice because he ain't getting away with it. As long as I'm breathing and as long as I can step foot into that ring, I am going to make him pay. Michael, I am going to beat the out of Gunther Saturday night's main event.
That was Goldberg. Let's hear Gunther's response.
Last week was supposed to be my celebration. We celebrated take the moment now and officially apologize to your wife and to your son for everything that I'm gonna do to the man that used to be Goldberg. Unlike anybody you ever stepped in the ring with, I embarrassed you once, and at Saturday night's main event, I'm gonna embarrass you again, because it's my personal responsibility to make sure that the legacy and the myth of Bill Goldberg forever dies.
All right. A lot of times, I look at, like, when I've done shows like this in the past, like, the great opportunity to share audio is to kind of provide context and substance to things, right? This last week, all your favorite podcasters and talk shows wasted so much energy talking about, oh, this doesn't make sense. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Why does Goldberg deserve a title shot? Why doesn't... You know what I mean? Well, why did they take the title off of Jey Uso so that they could give Goldberg a title shot that he doesn't deserve in 2025? You know, all that bullshit, right? Right there, that audio right there, it's a personal fight. And yeah, I get it, it's the title, but it's a fucking prop. It's not a sport. It's not a sport. So, they told you the story right there on Raw this week in Columbus. I love that they did the sit down with Goldberg, and the interview promo from Gunther was just as good as well. So, I'm excited for that match. I might be the only person in my field who feels that way, but I don't care. I'm excited for that match. Then we have John Cena's promo from SmackDown. The Pipebomb promo from John Cena. And I'll tell you what, as a CM Punk mark, to me, I think John Cena delivered the best promo and most effective promo of the entire year. Any doubt that anybody had about John Cena's heel turn and this retirement tour as a whole got shut up on Friday night, this past Friday. And when you look at what Cena had to say and the messaging that went on it, we got a glimpse of this on that final SmackDown before WrestleMania in Vegas. And John Cena was able to flip the crowd against Cody Rhodes. And here we are again, where John Cena flipped the crowd in Grand Rapids, Michigan against CM Punk. Of course, obviously, I have my bias. I always have CM Punk on a higher level for my entertainment value than John Cena. But after you see the promo that John cut on Friday, you cannot deny his GOAT status. He's one of the GOATs. We all can come here and ragtag his wrestling ability in 2025 with him being a 48-year-old man. But at the same time, you got to put respect on his name on the mic. I was already sold on the fact that I was excited for this match, and I'm glad that they're still doing it at Night of Champions. And, you know, as much as I would love to see it here in Chicago and reminisce in that moment again, I'm not going to act like an entitled, spoiled prick. Like, let's enjoy this moment for what it is. And I'm excited for it. I really am. The last couple promos from John Cena, not just the pipe bomb that he did and flipped the table on Punk, you know, everything he's been saying for the last 3 or 4 weeks following Money in the Bank is kind of lined up to everything that I felt that's been going on with this retirement tour. Hence why I didn't come on here and go crazy apeshit about the bookings this, the bookings that, the half-ass booking this, blah, 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 blah. Like, because John Cena has told you the entire time that he's stirring the ship the way he wants to. It's his retirement tour. He's doing it on his terms, and he has every right to do so. You don't think John Cena, for doing this for a quarter century, would know how to sway the perspective of the audience at a drop of a dime? Like, everything he's been saying has come to reality. And I hate saying that as a CM Punk fan, but everything he said towards Punk was the truth. I like the little ad-lib thing where he, like, hey, Claudio Castagnoli, hi, Nick Nemeth, hi, Matt Cardona, don't you get it? CC, Colt Cabana, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, like, it's right there. Right in front of you, everyone's like, oh, that was a reference to an interview that Peter Rosenberg did with CM Punk before WrestleMania 29. Like, it was right in front of you. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I'm excited to see, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. What I saw from Friday really was like right in front of your face type of deal of like, hey, John Cena's heel turn is working on every level, and it's a fun sight to see. I'll tell you that. All right, let's go into some preview predictions for Night of Champions. We have 6 matches on the card here, and let's see what we got here, shall we? All right, King of the Ring tournament final. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. As we all know, the winner, King and Queen of the Ring, will get a world title match against their respective brands' championships at SummerSlam. I'm going with Cody Rhodes here. If you want an avenue that would help Randy Orton be justified in his heel turn, it would be this one. And I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes here, and Randy Orton will pick his spot when the time comes. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton will be the feud to close out 2025. And I think more than anything, from what I saw from this past week of programming, I think we're getting Punk and Cody at WrestleMania 42. That's my prediction here. So I'm going with Cody there. I got Jade Cargill winning the Queen of the Ring against Asuka. I still think you can still do Asuka and Io Sky for the Women's World Championship at SummerSlam, and I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. But that's how I see things going. I have Jacob Fatu winning by disqualification thanks to interference by Hikuleo, and Hikuleo will join forces with Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo. I got Rhea Ripley beating Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight, and I got Sami Zayn defeating Killer Cross there at Saudi Arabia. And then the main event, I do have John Cena beating CM Punk. It'll be a crazy match, but I think John Cena will find a way to beat CM Punk and retain the WWE Championship. So those are my predictions and previews for Night of Champions taking place this Saturday. I'll be covering the show live for WrestlingHeadlines.com. Make sure to follow my coverage there, and we'll have some fun. So, on that note, when we come back, we'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 471 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. All right. One more segment to do here in the podcast at Hoots this week. Time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session here. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. As tradition here on the podcast, we will show up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta and X Team Zaletta 24X on the Twitter machine. Chris says here, what are those? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. X Team Zaletta 24X on the Twitter machine. Alright, here you go. How long until we get Yada Me t-shirts? I don't know if that's going to turn into a t-shirt or not, but the catchphrase is pretty funny. Who impressed you so far on LFG Season 2? Well, I like that Danny Sikelski is coming in with a more focused mindset. I like what I've seen from there. Summer Sorrell, some of these people that I've seen on Evolve are going to be on there now, like Trill London and Harlem Lewis, so those are ones to look out for as well. It's going to be a very interesting season. I think we're going to get like more serious and competition out of this than we had from the first season. Booker T needs to check his ego out the door because I don't know what the hell is his attitude problem on episode 1. I thought that was very strange. Do you think we'll see Adam Cole back in WWE at some point? I certainly hope so because he sure as hell ain't doing shit in AEW right now that's worth of anything. Like, he's just like placeholder Jones holding that TNT title until All In. So, yeah, I would love to see Adam Cole back in WWE. Do you think we'll see Oba Femi up on the main roster by the Royal Rumble? Who dethrones him and takes the NXT title? Well, I think Javon Evans will be the one that takes the title off of Oba Femi, but no, I don't think Oba Femi will be on the main roster by Royal Rumble, probably after the fact. With Liv out, did we see the last of her as a heel? Well, that depends. I say no because she just plays well with that New Jersey look at me attitude shtick that she has. So, like, I don't see it. Obviously, with her looks there, you would think that she'd be an easy babyface, but who knows? We'll have to see. Does Hikuleo debut at Night of Champions? Yes, I believe he will. Thoughts on John Cena's Pipebomb? Loved it. Loved every single second of it. Any chance to see a one-off between Oba Femi and Damian Priest in NXT? Oh, why not? I think that'd be pretty cool. Did you watch Cody and Kevin's sit-down? I did. I saw that during my walk on Wednesday. So, yes, I got to check out that podcast. That was very good. And I need to finish the Undertaker one with Brock Breaker. Will Cena and Punk put together another classic? Well, a lot of people like to dog John Cena's matches so far in 2025. I'll tell you what, Cena and Punk will have Cena will have his best match of the year on Saturday with CM Punk. I do believe that. Does Dom lose the IC title to AJ Styles? No. Dom will lose the IC title to Finn Balor. Or Penta. Thoughts on the Chad Gable injury news? It's unfortunate, you hate seeing talented people get injured like that, so hope it's nothing serious and wishing him a speedy recovery. We'll give shout-out to good brother Chris Aletta for good questions as always at XTeens1124X on the Twitter machine. Next we go to Mike Rubio, my main man from Houston at Main Event Swerve. He says, what up, Boost? Hope you are ending your month of June strong and with a PMA, as you would say, going into July. I appreciate you for saying that, man. I really do. I really need to hear that, so thank you. He says here, so Roxanne Perez is entering the tag team title picture with Liv injured, but is she going to steal Dom in the end? That's the interesting thing. You would think that would happen, but I don't know. One way or another, I think Dominic is going to get the boot out for the Judgment Day, so you would think that Dom would fall for Roxanne Perez and the chicken tendy tool that Finn Balor is using to his disposal, which is really the crux of it. It's all about Finn Balor. It's not really about Dominic. Finn's ego is out of control. So I don't know if she's going to steal Dom at the end, but she's going to make it interesting. Also, do you see replacing Liv in the long run even after Liv comes back against him 100%? I do think Roxanne Perez will take her spot in the Judgment Day and Raquel will turn on Liv Morgan, but that's pretty much it for the extent of that. Do you see it as a big deal that Stephanie Van Kurt lost in that fatal 4-way? It was Asuka's return, not about taking Steph down a peg. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Matches are matchups, and you also don't want to put Stephanie in a position where she comes in right out of the gate and she wins a gazillion matches and then nobody gives a shit 3 months later, so It's not the end of the world that she didn't win that Fatal 4-Way match. Also, what do you think of signature moves like her Devil's Kiss being reversed for big PLEs or big moments? Well, yeah, I think those objectively should be used sporadically. At least the reversals of it should be used sporadically and when it matters the most. So yeah, I agree with that. Without just a prediction, how long does the Gunther Goldberg match last, over or under 10 minutes? I'll go under, but I'll probably go around like 7 or 8. That'll be my prediction. I think 7 or 8 will do the job there. How do you feel about Goldberg jumping the line for a title shot? Is that a big deal? No. Like I said on last week's episode, if it's okay for 64-year-old Sting to have tag team title matches and stuff like that in his final match at Revolution, then why is it a problem for Goldberg to have a world title shot at 58? Like, it's not a big deal. It was revealed this week that the average WWE salary for Raw and SmackDown is about $350,000 a year. No, my bad. It's $350,000 a year. Do you think that's worth it as an independent contractor paying for it at least some of your travel? Compared to the $20,000 I make right now, fuck yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat. Hell yeah. $350,000 a year is nothing to scuff at. There's a ton of WWE content each week, so beyond what you transcribe, what do you regularly watch or listen to from WWE each week is WWE Life, as Nick Khan said. Yeah, when he said that on Stephanie McMahon's podcast, I thought that saying was true, because it is true. I listened to all the podcasts, Cody's, Stephanie's, now the Undertaker's. I've been following along with that. I watched the bump when it was going on. Much to my chagrin, I had to check out the Raw recap stuff with Megan Morant and Sam Roberts. I like Megan Morant. She's a Chicago girl, so I had no problem with her. I just can't stand Sam Roberts for the life of me. But yeah, I would say WWE is life. I will say that. That's a good way to phrase that, for sure. Speaking of which, were you aware that Booker T's promotion, Reality Wrestling in Houston, is a WWE ID deal, and that Natalya is fighting at an event for it soon? Yes, I heard about it right as they made that initial press release about it, so yeah. I think that's awesome. Booker's a great teacher and developer of talent, so it makes sense for him to be part of the WWE ID program, and the WWE ID program is pretty cool, and they do some good stuff, which helps make evolve a fun brand for me to cover each week. Like Ice Williams, who's a WWE ID talent, had a match with Keanu Carver last night on Evolve. I thought was good, and we got like Kylie Ray, who's another WWE ID talent, had an awesome last woman standing match with Wendy Chu last night. So the WWE ID program's cool, and I think it's awesome that Natty wants to be part of it. So, do you think that there's a curse or bias against the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, or do they just need another direction? I just think they need to call it a day, to be honest with you. And look, I know they have the WWE Women's IC titles and US titles, but if there's a necessary need for a third extra championship amongst the division, just make it a women's television title and call it a day. What kind of things are you watching on Netflix lately besides Raw? How I Met Your Mother. That's an easy answer there. How I Met Your Mother, The Last Dance, Emily in Paris. I've been watching the Twilight movies because they put the franchise up on Netflix for the past month. Fortunately, it's coming to an end at the end of the month, so that kind of sucks. But Twilight for sure. The After movies franchise, I really enjoyed that one. That was a fun movie franchise that I really liked. After We Collide, After We Fall, stuff like that. And then they have a lot of funny stuff from Adam Sandler catalogs, like Big Daddy and I watch a whole bunch of stuff on Netflix, honestly. What do you think of having a second WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia each year, a greatest WrestleMania, as they jokingly call it? Well, I'm still out of the loop with the rumor and innuendo stuff that I don't know if that's an actual thing that's going to happen. But if it happens, just for anything else, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because it's more money for me to make, and it's a show for me to cover. That's how I look at it. I'm not going to tie myself in knots over it as a fan, where you feel like it's goofy, and yes, it is kind of goofy to attach WrestleMania and anything else besides just WrestleMania, but we'll see if it happens. If it happens, it is what it is. Do you respect OKC Thunder for having more rising stars than anything and having a 68-win season to win it all? Absolutely. I think OKC did it the right way, and that's how I like to enjoy basketball. So I'm not a fan of the super team, so seeing what the Oklahoma City Thunder did this season is very impressive, and I hope that's more of the rule rather than the exception. So I love that. What do you think of the White Sox? What do you think of that White Sox fan who apparently taunted Diamondbacks Ketel Marte about his dead mother? Do you think he knew that factor in, even so when you have banned him from all MLB parks too? The guy's a sack of shit, honestly. You don't do that to some athlete. I don't care if he's on your team or any other opposing team. Like, I saw the video of the guy too who said it. He looks like a douchebag. He is a douchebag. He's a sack of shit, and I'm glad that he got banned from the ballpark. That's all I have to say about that. What do you think? What do you think the new OC for the Bears will do to improve the team's offense? Will the team bear down on offense too this year? I certainly hope so. I mean, it can't get worse than what it was last season, Mike. Oh man, this is kind of the situation where like you see things that are like at the bottom of the barrel, and you're like, well, it can't get any worse than what it is right now. You know what I mean? So I hope it does get for the better, but let's see how that one plays out. 16 here, he says, speaking of Don, are you getting tired of Pat McAfee on Raw? I'm seeing more people complaining about him specifically each week for some reason. No. I wouldn't say that I'm getting tired of Pat McAfee. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I have been enjoying listening to Corey Graves on Raw these past couple weeks, but I'm also a big fan of Pat McAfee, so no. I mean, the IWC is always going to try to find something new to bitch about every single week or every single day at this rate. So there's really nothing for me to really lose my sleep on. Where would you put Corey Graves in WWE world when Pat comes back? Well, it just depends on where things go. I mean, I know the college football season will probably be back around the corner, so who knows, maybe Corey Graves goes back to doing play-by-play for SmackDown in the fall. We'll have to see. But for my opinion, I think Corey Graves is doing good stuff in NXT, and I would keep him there with Vic Joseph and Booker T. And then the final question here, he's like, what do you think of Cena's counter Pipebomb promo? Could he have copied but made it more original, or was it just right to you, a lifetime Pug fan? Well, that's it for now, but I hope it all goes well for you going into July 2. Thank you, good brother. I appreciate that. Make sure to follow Mike at Main Event Swerve. The latter part of your question is how I feel. I thought it hit the points that it needs to hit, and it sit perfectly right for me as a Punk, Mark, like you said. But again, my takeaway from that pipe bomb is just showing everybody that still in 2025, John Cena is still that dude on the microphone. And he's on another level when it comes to microphones and promos. So that's my big takeaway from it. But on that note, I want to thank Chris and Mike for helping me out as always here on the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate with the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. And on that note, we're going to put a ribbon on the bow on this week's edition of the podcast at Hoots. No! Make sure to enjoy Night of Champions this Saturday. Like I said, I will be covering it live for WrestlingHeadlines.com, so make sure to check it out there, WrestlingHeadlines.com and ProWrestlingTranscripts.com. You can follow me on X if you like at the Hoots Podcast. Twitter is at Joshie Lopez Music. Instagram, like I said there, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube at the Hoots Podcast, and subscribe as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. Let us know if you liked or didn't like the podcast in the comment section. And remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates and pays your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love y'all. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 471 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues, we go down from 29 to 28. We're getting closer and closer, ladies and gentlemen. I love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Night of Champions. And we'll talk to y'all next week, right here on the Hoots Podcast. Yeah.
Bye-bye, bitch.